Next, it's a crime known as stolen valor, where regular citizens pose as armed forces veterans with the intent to gain sympathy and money from the public. It is punishable by fines and up to 1 year in prison. For one veteran, the sight of a panhandler in a bogus military uniform cuts deep, especially when the man positions himself just a few miles from a military base. So he decides to do something about it. Tampa, Florida is home to MacDill Air Force Base. Garrett Goodwin was a former Army combat medic who served his country for nearly a decade. In March 2015, he spots a man in Army fatigues asking for money on a street corner. He initially offers to help the man, but his concern turns to suspicion when the man cannot produce any sort of military ID. Goodwin wastes no time confronting him.
You're begging for money wearing an Army soldier uniform? Sir, you're not a veteran? Yes, I am. No, you're a piece of what you are. Show me your veteran ID card. Show me your veteran's ID card. I don't have one, sir. Well, take off my uniform.
Goodwin pursues the man, admonishing him for impersonating an Army veteran so close to a military base.
You got the balls to stand out here? We got military people coming in and out this base every day.
As the man continues to walk away from Goodwin, he takes his shirt off and apologizes in hopes of placating him.
You're not looking for trouble, but you're coming at people telling you're a veteran. When you're not a veteran, sir, don't walk out in traffic.
As angry as Goodwin is at the military imposter, the former medic still looks out for the panhandler's safety.
Down the road. Don't apologize to me.
I apologize.
Take that and throw it in the garbage. I don't want you to wear it anymore. That's my uniform.
The man eventually leaves the intersection and was not seen on that corner the next day. Lieutenant Colonel Gary Barthel specializes in military law. He's an attorney. And are we seeing this happen more and more? Panhandlers pretending to be veterans and panhandling outside military bases?
Unfortunately, we are, Elizabeth. I think in large part because we're having significant issues with the homeless population, and more people are finding themselves on the street having to panhandle. And several of those individuals are wearing the military uniform in an effort to gain financial support from the public.
The public at a military base who's thinking, gosh, that could be, me in a few years, or it could have been my dad a few years ago, that sort of thing. I mean, they're preying upon the sort of, soft spot for the military because they're members of the military community.
Correct, absolutely. Men and women of the service, they sacrifice a lot to be able to wear the uniform. And so for individuals to take that same uniform and then use it for the purposes of defrauding people out of their money or services for their own financial gain it's unfair.
It's illegal to impersonate a veteran.
It is illegal to impersonate a veteran. If you're doing it with the intent of defrauding somebody out of cash or services. Many states have created their own stolen valor laws that prohibit this conduct. And in many states, it's a misdemeanor that could land a person in jail for a year or a $1,000 fine.
The man was never identified and no charges were filed. Sadly, Garrett Goodwin passed away from a heart attack at the age of 41. Goodwin was a first responder during the 9/11 attacks on New York City and suffered permanent lung damage as a result.